I do think you should be talking to me. I think you should have called me. I did take those plane trips with him, and you have a right to ask those questions. So I'm glad to be here, and I understand what the oath is. I have to be honest with you. You know, I'll be 80 years old if I live to my next birthday. I don't remember everything that happened 24 years ago, but I do remember some things, and I will tell you what I remember as best I can.
She's been described on being on a 2002 Africa trip and providing massages. Was she or any other young female on that trip underage at that time?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Did you ever receive a massage or have physical contact from her or anyone else on that trip?
You've seen the pictures. There was one time when I was sitting up and I got a back rub, a neck rub.
Okay.
And I think Shantae did it, but I'm not sure. I wish Shantae had told me. I liked her. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think it was anything unusual. I can't tell you how many airplanes I've been on where rich people asked me to go and they had someone offering a massage. You know, all these boats that you go on and all that, they all do that.
Did you ever visit Epstein's Little St. James Island?
No.
We have Virginia Guffrey, who has testified seeing you on the island with two young girls. Did this occur at all? Okay. Why do you think she would have made that claim?
Objection, speculation. He can't possibly.
Have you ever met her or any other Epstein associated underage girl?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. In Epstein's 2016 deposition unsealed in the DOJ files, he refused to answer if you were accompanied by two young women who were approximately 18 years old on the island. Were any such women potentially underage with you? I know you've stated that you were not there, but did you have any interaction with the said
Objection
individuals?
to the foundation of the question. He's already stated he was not on the island. You're now asking about a claim of the Fifth Amendment by Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay. Is it possible, and in your opinion, that you and or your wife were targeted as a means of an intelligence gathering operation
Object to the
by
form
Jeffrey
of the
Epstein
question.
and Ghislaine Maxwell?
Object to the form of the question. No objection to if he knows that they were targeted.
I believe that's what she asked.
No, she said it's impossible, so she's asking him to speculate instead of asking him, does he know?
Do you know if you were targeted at any point?
I don't, but
Okay.
I don't. I'd sort of be surprised, but I'm not. I don't know.
Mr. President, before we left off, I asked you to characterize your relationship with Mr. Epstein. I asked you if you considered him to be a friend. You said you did not. Is that right?
I said we were friendly and we had a cordial relations, but I didn't know him well enough because we had almost no contact beyond what I described.
At this time, I'd like to introduce what will be marked as Majority Exhibit 13. And this is Bates marked House Oversight 000126. And while it's being passed out, this is a letter from a book of letters, which
Yeah, it's his 50th birthday.
Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday.
The questions.
Yep,
Mr. President, do you recognize this
I
letter?
do.
And for the record, does this appear to be your handwriting and
It
signature?
is.
And why did you write this letter?
Why did I? Because I was requested to contribute a nice letter for his birthday book.
And who asked you to write the letter?
I don't remember.
Would Miss Maxwell have
I
asked
don't
you?
know. I think someone on my staff asked me.
Now, there's a word that our committee has not been able to identify, and in our defense, the Wall Street Journal has not been able to identify.
Imagine being on his staff.
Can you please read the letter for the record?
Yes. It's reassuring, isn't it, to have lasted so long across all the years of learning and knowing, adventures and errors, and still to have your childlike curiosity, the drive to make a difference, and the solace of friends. Not a bad letter.
And because we haven't been able to identify that word until now. What did you
Which
mean?
word was it that you could not?
Solace, you couldn't,
No, errors.
errors. What
Were
did
you
I
refer-
mean? Anybody who's lived 50 years and done anything has made mistakes as well as progress and done things.
But for the record, you weren't referring to errors in judgment that Mr. Epstein had related to his inappropriate activities involving young
Absolutely
individuals.
not. I knew nothing about that.
We have, as you know, in the files that were released, there were several photos that included you, and we have an exhibit here. That's just one of the photos, and Exhibit K, Minority Exhibit K.
Yep.
And we'll have that passed around. And what we're trying to get at is some context for the public on whether you remember this photo and any details you may be able to provide us about it. So do you recall the details of this photo, or recall the photo being taken?
No, I don't think I ever knew the photo was taken.
Okay, and for those who can't see it, it's a photo of you in a hot tub. There's a person next to you here. Do you remember where it was taken? Where was it taken?
I'm almost sure that this pic, and I think there's an adjacent photograph, which you probably have, that if people saw it, they would feel that someone was trying to con them showing this picture. But anyway, this picture was taken in Brunei. And we flew one night on a trip to Asia, the last very long leg.
You said we, is it, who is that including?
Well, my TIL team that was working
Thank you.
on the AIDS issue, and Mr. Epstein was there, and
Okay.
Miss Maxwell. But anyway, we got to the end of the flight was Brunei. It's a tiny place, but a very wealthy one, and the Sultan of Brunei was a man that I had gotten to know well in my 8 years as president. And his first involvement with international matters was basically to join the Asian Pacific Economic Leaders Conference, which I started and which he attended. And so, and then he was very proud of that, and he hosted, his time came to host it. You know, you do these things in rotation. And it came at either at the very end of my term or maybe the next year. Anyway, he wanted, when he knew I was coming, he said he wanted to help me with my AIDS initiative, and he invited me to stay there. And he said, I want you to stay at this hotel, and I hope you'll use the pool. So I did, and then I got out and went to bed, exhausted.
Just for the record, there's another picture that also shows this as part of the larger pool area. Do you all have that so that he can refresh his recollection with respect to that?
You should have it. It's quite enlightening. If you watch this,
Yes, it's noted.
it'll
Yes.
give you a different feel.
Thank you.
Okay.
We don't have it with us right now.
Okay,
We do
thanks. I just
have
wanted
it
to
as
make
well.
sure he knew the
And so
context.
were there other people in that pool or hot tub with you as well?
I don't think there's anybody in the hot tub. I didn't forgotten that there was anybody in the hot tub, but it was big, but it was about,
Well, there's
He's asking in the pool
it appears
area,
there's this photo, there's a girl over here, or there's someone.
yeah, I don't know who that is.
but he's also asking in the pool area were there other
Yes,
individuals?
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so you don't know?
No, and then there were other people in the pool.
Okay, so do you remember were they under 18? Would you
No.
know? No.
Were they part of your traveling party, he's asking you?
Yes, they were, I think. I think everybody there was part of our party. It was late at night or late-ish, and I also believe that there was a Secret Service agent there at the other end of the pool.
Okay, and was this in public?
No, it was a hotel room, and the Sultan wanted us to stay there, and the water, this big pool, was on the same floor that there were several suites, so we went out, I swam around, I sat in the hot tub for 5 minutes, or whatever it was, and I got up and went to bed.
And then I have to ask this, did you engage in any sexual activity
No.
with this person? Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, There's been new information that has come out regarding the autopsy of Mr. Epstein. I would just like to ask you personally and directly, do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself?
Are you asking him to speculate on how Mr. Epstein died?
I'm asking what the president thinks of.
So you're asking his opinion?
Mr. President, was your friend Jeffrey Epstein
Are
suicidal?
you classifying him as a friend who he has testified that he was
has called
friendly?
him a friend in a letter.
He said he was friendly, but not, you've asked for his testimony
Mr.
here.
President, do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein was suicidal?
Do you know?
Was he ever
She's asking for the
suicidal?
best of your
I
understanding.
don't know. I only know what the medical finding was. I think maybe
That's it.
he finally got caught, and I don't know. I've accepted it in my own mind. I don't know what happened,
Mr. President, what did you accept? That he killed himself or that he did not?
but he did, but I don't know.
Yes, sir.
And
Thank you,
neither do
Mr.
you.
President.
We don't, none of us know. We weren't there.
Mr. President, it's been an honor. Thank you.
It's, again, it's from GMAX, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, I read it
We
all.
believe, while it's redacted, having seen the unredacted files, we believe that the two is to the same email. It says, sorry to hear about the Bellsberg stuff is bad news, even worse, that it may be damaging. You know that one of my pet fears is that in London I am press toxic, so I hope that I never add to your woes in that department. If I hear anything, I will of course let you know. I could not help myself. There was one juicy little tidbit I did let out, the one about what a super stud that you are and how I have a crush on you and how you are hung like a horse. And well, you get the picture. Hope you don't mind. Are you familiar with this email?
Are you saying at the time it was sent or in the preparation for this?
At the time that it was sent, were you familiar with it?
Oh, no.
Are you familiar with it before?
Yes, it's
Okay.
now famous.
Okay, well, what can you tell me about your knowledge of this email?
So if his knowledge is only from when he was prepared for this hearing, that would have been with his counsel, or is that what are you asking for outside of any preparation
Let me
for
ask
this
this.
hearing?
Mr. President, do you believe that Mr. Band sent this or received this email?
I do.
Okay. So, and there's more. Let me go to the next one. Exhibit, which would be number 20.
And the answer is, I
Oh,
didn't
wait a
know
minute,
about
there's
this.
no question.
Okay, at the time.
I would just ask you to clarify whether or not you're asking if he knows about these emails at the time they were sent, or if you're asking whether or not he came to learn about them in the course of preparation, just so that distinction in time is clear.
Okay. I believe this email is also very short. It's just at the top, again, it's from the WJC email, same one. And it says, this email is silly. I want to spank bottoms tonight.
Who's it from?
It's from the same email account, the same email that has been used before, the WJC email. What was your knowledge of Mr. Band's relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell?
I knew he was, basically, he contacted her in the same way that she represented Epstein on things. I did not know, nor did I need to know, that they had a personal relationship for
Did they
a
have
while.
a physical relationship?
Are you asking him whether or not they had a physical relationship?
You believe they had a physical relationship?
I don't know for sure.
And
But
just to be
Alright,
clear,
that's
you
it.
said it, but you did not have a physical relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell.
The president's
not.
answered that question multiple
Absolutely.
times.
Your statement in 2019 about only meeting with Jeffrey Epstein on 2 occasions briefly.
That is not
was
a correct, I'm going to object to that characterization.
I
That is
believe-
not what the statement says.
Okay, so the
You're
third
reading the
paragraph
Daily
down.
Beast article.
So to be
which
clear,
is a leftist rag, by the way. And on the third paragraph down, it says, in his Monday statement, Clinton said he had only, quote, one meeting with Epstein in his Harlem office in 2002, and around the same time made one brief visit to Epstein's New York apartment with a staff member and his security detail. Those are the two
That
meetings
is
that
in
were
addition to this.
referenced.
so
the
the Daily
trips,
Beast,
the
Bill Clinton
statement
failed to
described.
mention his intimate dinner
The statement
1995
described
dinner
trips.
with Epstein. That's by Pilar Melendez on the 11th of July, 2019.
All right, Mr.
What?
President, your statement saying, only met with Epstein briefly twice, was that part of an effort to cover up your close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, correct?
Object to the form of the question. It misstates the record.
She's asking if you were trying to mislead the public.
No,
Okay, how many times did Ghislaine Maxwell visit your home in Chappaqua?
I have no idea.
Who invited her?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how, she may have been,
Mr. President, that's it.
Okay.
Hillary had political events there.
Okay, so is it is it to your knowledge, was she at your home in Chappaqua likely because your wife had her over for Senate events? That's what you testified earlier today, correct?
That's not what he testified, but please ask the
I would
question
like
as
him
to
to
what he would
clarify.
actually, thank you, I appreciate that.
I do not know, but if you are
Okay, Mr. President,
implying the
you don't know.
reverse, I will volunteer something. She was never at my house in Chappaqua for any personal reasons.
I didn't say anything for anything
No,
personal.
you
I
didn't, but you had a great tone in your voice and you're
Mr.
very good
President,
at
Mr.
it.
President, let's just,
Thank you, I'll take that as a compliment. I
It is a
admit
compliment.
Thank you, and I did not go to Yale Law School or any law school for that matter.
Mr. President, did you ever make any kind of attempt to influence the media's coverage of Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
At this time, I'd like to introduce what we've marked as Majority Exhibit 23. And this is Bates number EFTA 02792895.
One page,
yes, ma'am.
thank you.
Who's Shasta? I don't even know who that is.
And this is email from Virginia Giuffre, an Epstein victim, that alleged that you walked into Vanity Fair and threatened them not to write sex trafficking articles about your good friend Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. President, is this true?
No. No. Not no, hell no, not close, no.
Why do you think Ms. Giuffre would make these
Are
claims?
you asking him to have an opinion
don't
about
know,
Ms.
but-
Giuffre's point of mind? Can we not do that? Like, ask him about the facts that he knows, as opposed to asking about the facts in other people's minds.
Mr. President, have you ever asked any other publication to shut down a story related to Mr. Epstein?
No.